It is November 12th, 2016. We're here with our SeeSnake equipment on the rooftop of a house that has no cleanouts. We here have a 3-inch cast iron vent pipe. It's going down into a 4-inch cast iron main. We're going to go ahead and show all the cameras here on how far they can get out with some turns we have all the way out by the sidewalk. So we have here the MicroReel, which is the one we're using now that we'll start with. We then have the compact, the original one. However, this compact does have a push rod that is not the original complete fiberglass style that came originally. It's an aftermarket one that was done by SeeSnake after the first one had kinked, and it's a little bit of an upgrade, but not anything that's on the market. Then we have our Compact 2. However, this is equipped with the D2A push rod. So this actually has the 200-foot push rod in the drum. We got that aftermarket as well from SeeSnake. Then we have the D2B in the RM200 unit here with the double heat nested spring. And then we have our standard reel and drum here with the largest head and push rod. So we're going to go ahead through the vent here. This main sewer had backed up and we had to snake and clear it past the property line cleanout, which is again not exposed, right in front of the sidewalk. Small piece of ABS pipe. Here's our transition. So we're now inside the horizontal main, running out. Small turn. So again, this is the MicroReel. We're going to push this out relatively quick here just because we're trying to show this for test purposes. And we're going to run each camera down the line to see how far it can maneuver and get by the property line cleanout, which is a full 90-degree turn. And then underneath that's going to be a few feet of pipe with another full 90-degree turn. So we started a couple feet out from where the reel started from the vent, but we're coming almost up on now 70 feet here. And so right at almost at about 70 feet, you can see this is the property line cleanout. So right here, it is not exposed above ground. So this is where we're trying to get by this area, because this is where the blockage was, to see that it is all clear and there's no other issues still in the line. So the MicroReel here cannot maneuver by this 90-degree elbow here because the push rod is just doesn't have the stiffness to help push through this turn at this distance. We're almost 3/4 of the way out of it in its entirety. So now we're going to go ahead and pause the video, pull this back, and try the next original compact camera and push rod. Okay, we're starting the video up because we're getting close to the clean out. Again, this is the compact. So here we have this camera head, which has a pretty good springy head to it. So you can see we're able to make that turn there. It's a very loose head. So we're able to make that 90, unlike the MicroReel. So fortunately, we're not able to push down this complete vertical pipe after this 90-degree turn. So this one here, and we can feel the stiffness as we pull back, is binding up at the 90-degree turn of that cast iron T-fitting, which is right there again for the clean out. So that's as far as we could get with this camera and push rod. So we're now going to pause the video and put the next camera down. Okay, we're now coming up on the property line clean out with the third camera. This is the D2A. Okay, we were able to make that 90-degree turn there. Okay, and just like the compact though, the spring is a little bit more lucid and we have a stiffer push rod than the MicroReel with this one as well, but it's bunching up at that 90-degree elbow right there. So we basically cannot get past this area here no matter what we do. It just completely stops. So that's our third camera. We're now going to pause the video, pull this back, and go with our fourth camera. Okay, we've now got our fourth camera in. This is the D2B with the double nested spring. Here's our clean out. Nice long spring to make part of the turn. And just like the last two cameras, we cannot get too much further down this vertical. It can only go so far. The spring will drop, but the push rod's binding up at that 90-degree elbow, which is, again, the property line clean out. That's what we encounter all the time here in San Diego County. We're going to go ahead and pause the video and try our fifth camera. Okay, we're now coming down the line. We got a little bit of debris on the face of the camera here that got snagged, but this is, again, the standard reel. Here's our property line clean out. Okay, so like the past three, the spring, because of the stiffness of the push rod behind it, is allowed to make that 90-degree elbow and push the flexible spring around that corner of that 90-degree elbow. However, it cannot continue past this tight 90-degree elbow down the short vertical even to the next 90. So we're going to go ahead now, pause the video, and hook up a combination, which is going to be the MicroReel tagged alongside with the standard reel we're using now in conjunction with each other. So we're going to pause this. Okay, so now we are done with all the individual cameras. So now what we have hooked up is our MicroReel. And we've got the cable pushed all out here from when we ran it last time. And we got 15 feet pushed out. We've got a second monitor going as well. And then you can see we have it literally just duct taped with electrical tape here, the standard reel. So we've got 15 feet of MicroReel push rod running ahead of where it connects to the standard. So we're going to show this whole video together. So this is the MicroReel image here. Going down. And that's just about that 15-foot mark is our transition into the horizontal pipe down the vent. Okay, now both cameras are running at the same time here. I've got both monitors going, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just pause the video for 1 second while we switch out the interconnect cords. Okay, so you can see here we switched the interconnect cords, so we're now looking at the image on the standard camera, and you can see that the push rod of the MicroReel that is taped to is pushing ahead of it. And so now here's the transition for this pipe. Now this camera and push rod are also in the horizontal line. So we're now going to pause again and re-switch the interconnect cords to go back and show the MicroReel camera image, which is the leading camera ahead of this one. Okay, so we are back to the front piece. We've got a little bit of debris in the front of that camera. So we're now just running this one out. We're not showing any distance change on the monitor we're recording for the MicroReel because the 80 some odd feet close to 80 feet we pulled out is just sitting here loose on the rooftop. So that's why you don't see a distance change. We do have a counter on this reel caught up on the roof vent here. Okay. Snagged again. Okay, now here's our property line clean out that we've come to. Originally with the MicroReel to start, we couldn't even make the 90. All the other push rods were able to make the turn and couldn't go further. So now with the MicroReel, with the standard and assistance, it is just pushed through that 90, and we're going down the vertical, and we've now come to the bottom of that vertical, and we've also just made that 90-degree turn. So we just pushed out further than we could with all the other ones. We're now in what appears to be clay pipe, and you can see we're running down the clay pipe, and we are moving all the way out. We are, again, 15 feet ahead of the standard, and we're pushing down this clay pipe without any problem whatsoever. It is completely moving down and down here. And on the other screen, we're about to come up to where we're taped off. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause the video real quick. I'm going to clean up that camera image that we're looking at now with some water, but we're going to switch our interconnect cable over again just to show this. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, so we've switched over just to show, and you can see our standard camera head where it's taped off. Again, we're at that 72-foot mark, and we're coming up right onto where the property line cleanout is. And so we've been pushing the MicroReel ahead of this, but we're not going to be able to go ahead, and there's our water we just dumped down the vent. We're not going to be able to continue any further because we only taped about 15 feet off. I'm not sure, again, if anybody else has ever tried this, but we feel we've definitely solved the problem of getting past two 90-degree elbow turns that are far out from a house, which is typically going to be the property line cleanout, transitioning from horizontal to vertical, and then at the bottom of the vertical, the second 90 to retransition to horizontal, and then continue out, typically under the sidewalk or close thereof, and then out to the street. So we could run some more tests with more than 15 feet. However, it's getting dark right now, so we'll have to try that another time. But we know now that this is the only way, and this works perfect. So other than having to tape them and run two together, we're hoping that SeeScan will go ahead and try making a reel of this that is just one section rather than having to tape two together of a standard or D2B push rod with a metal termination point, and then transition to anywhere from 20 to maybe even upwards of 30 feet or more of the MicroReel, which then has the spring and head on that end. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video and just show the MicroReel image again while we pull back. Okay, so we've just gone ahead and ran some more water to kind of clean up that camera face here. So we're now going to go ahead and start pulling back. So you can see we traveled a good distance inside this horizontal clay pipe. Here's the transition back to cast iron. We're going to go ahead and push back our standard reel into our drum, and we can kind of get a distance of how far we were back. And so we were around 10 feet or so, maybe even 12 feet actually. Yeah, about 12 feet out into that clay pipe. And then we're going to come up that 90 cast iron, up the vertical cast iron, and boom, here is the property line clean out. So again, we've kind of solved this problem of being able to get out further past this junction in houses by making a combination of two push rods linked together. So we're going to go ahead now and stop the recording and pull back our cameras, and we'll go ahead and send this video to SeeScan and see what can be done.